I am recording this video today again because there are a number of developments here in the United Kingdom that I would want to draw attention to and to highlight them. And the times and the seasons that we're living in, these are very, very serious moments in human history. And they're not to be taken for granted or taken lightly in any way. And in these times that we're living in, it is absolutely important, it is imperative for us as Christians and the church to find a place of prayer and make prayer our priority. That we place emphasis on prayer and much prayer. We need to open our doors and our windows towards Jerusalem. And we need to get down on our knees and we need to make serious prayer to our God, our Maker, our Creator, the one who created the heavens and the earth and all that therein is. We need to look to Him. We need to look to the hills from whence cometh our help, because our help cometh from the Lord, who is the maker of the heavens and the earth. These are unprecedented times. These are very, very, very serious times. The hearts of men have become desperately wicked, and their hearts are set on evil, to shed blood, to spill innocent blood. And the church need to take up its position. We're soldiers of the cross. We're not only going to run with the footmen, but we're going to run with the horsemen. We're going to set our faces like flint and square our shoulders and not be afraid of them. Like Elijah, when he was challenged by the prophets of Baal, he called down fire from heaven that consumed the sacrifices that were on the altar and the water that was in the trenches round about it. And he was not afraid. He spoke to the head of an axe, and the piece of metal, it flowed. He spoke to the heavens, and it did not rain within the space of 3 years and 6 months. And he spoke again, and the heavens gave rain. Church, let us be awake. Let us come to the fore and take up our positions. There are many developments that are taking place right now in the United Kingdom. I think on the 10th of July in Scotland, they declared that whenever you go into any public place that you must wear a face mask. So in supermarkets, in shops, in post office, it was made mandatory for you to wear face masks. Today, in England, it is now official as well that you must wear face masks when you go into certain public places. But what is alarming is that they told us that if you go into supermarkets, you must wear face mask. If you go into banks, you must wear face mask. If you go into shops, you must wear face mask. But then they also told us that you don't have to wear face mask if you go into theaters and cinemas, or if you go into pubs and restaurants, or in places of worship and church. You don't have to wear face mask. Now, what is shocking and alarming about this is that Why is it you have to wear face masks when you go into a supermarket, or in a bank, or in a shop, or in a post office? But when you go into a pub where there are so many people mingling, or in a restaurant, or in a cinema where there are so many people mingling, or in a theater where there are so many people mingling, it is not compulsory for you to wear a mask. But when you go into the banks and the supermarkets and the shops and the post office, you must wear a mask. What is the difference between these venues or these places? These are public places where people gather together. In fact, people mingle more in pubs, in restaurants, in theaters, and these public places than they do even in a supermarket. Because when people are in supermarket, it might be an individual shopping or a family of two shopping. But in pubs, everybody is in each other's face, chatting and drinking. Similar to restaurants and theater and cinema, you're in close proximity. So why is it in some places it is compulsory and mandatory, and in other places it is not? And the simple truth is that the government is just using coronavirus as a scapegoat for a greater agenda. And even the simple-minded people, if they look and put things together, add 1 and 2 together, you can tell exactly what is going on. But the thing with Britain especially is that Britain is a country whereby lying is part of their DNA. They like to lie to get what they want, to have their way. Just go back a little bit in history and you can see. Look at Iraq. I think it was it in 2003 when Tony Blair and Bush put to politicians that Saddam Hussein poses a very serious threat, when in fact there was no threat whatsoever. They had other agenda to go into Iraq, and they went into Iraq and they made Iraq a dump hill, a country, a sovereign country that was operating normally and people going about their daily lives, is no longer a country. They have completely ruined the infrastructure of Iraq, and they killed hundreds of thousands of people. In fact, they have killed millions of people in Iraq. And they brush it off today as if it is nothing. David Cameron did the same with France. They went into Libya and they claimed that Colonel Gaddafi was a tyrant and he had killed many of his own people, and they needed to get rid of him. And they went and they infiltrate the infrastructure and the system and the people in Libya. And Libyans killed Saddam Hussein, killed Colonel Gaddafi rather, in the street. Like a common criminal, like a dog on the street. A man who is the president of a country was killed with a 9mm on the streets in Libya like a common criminal. And the very next day, after Colonel Gaddafi's death, Britain and France was fighting over the oil fields in Libya. It was on national television, we all saw it. So that was their agenda, to take control of the oil in Libya and in Iraq and in these places. And yet they have lied to the British people. And they have not been brought to justice for such acts of evil and criminality against humanity. And today in Libya, it is a country of complete anarchy. Libya was one of the countries, or probably the only country in the world, with zero deficit balance. When people from the UK went to Libya to work. They earn money like they have never earned before in the United Kingdom or anywhere else. And of course, Colonel Gaddafi had made significant contribution to many African countries and many other countries around the world. And really, he was nothing of what they made of him, really, when you think about it. Because a person who is a tyrant or who is evil, don't just go around and just give money to other poor countries and try to make a difference. And even England and many countries in Europe, they have been to Africa and they have taken away so much. Trillions and trillions and trillions, and they have given back nothing, really, to these economies and developments. Look at us. We're children of slaves. And Britain has made no effort to enrich our lives or to support us in any way, knowing the past that we have had. In fact, we're constantly bombarded with discrimination, and a system has been put in place to keep us literally trapped and in bondage. You're going to a place of work, and no sooner you're made a scapegoat, you're told that you're aggressive, you're violent, you're like a threat, when in fact the opposite is true. And so today, of course, Britain has an agenda that they want to achieve, and they are using coronavirus as a scapegoat to achieve that agenda. On the 17th of July, the question was asked, how come there are so many unrelated deaths to COVID-19, but yet COVID-19 is written on death certificates? And the Ministry of Health and the health authorities responded by saying that even if someone was knocked down by a bus and killed, but was tested positive for coronavirus, that COVID-19 would still be written on their death certificate. Now tell me, where else except in Britain can you hear such rubbish, such evil? So tell me then, if someone had cancer and that person got knocked down by a bus, would they still put cancer on the death certificate as the cause of death? Surely not. So it tells us something, and it's very clear that they have actually bumped up the death